Terriermon and Mega Gargomon isn't the only way just to play this deck, as I'll be showing you guys what you can also do with Cherubimon.
Okay, the first game of Cherubimon, we're going to be playing against the Monze and Numemon deck, which is one of the most hyped archetypes recently in this set. So looking at our opening hand, it looks pretty okay. We can keep it. We have a rookie to digivolve into. We have a searching piece. You know, we're just trying to usually just see cards that we can build up the line from our 3, 4, 5s, and 6s with this deck. Pretty straightforward when it comes to, for the early game plan. So try to digivolve as much as we can and give the opponent a little memory as possible. And yeah, digivolving on top of the Terriermon and not utilizing its main effect is not too bad for this particular deck, especially if you don't see your tamers or if you don't see anything you can play off of with lopmon either, then that's totally fine. Just keep going up and we can go into our 5 and our 6s for a potential really cool play upcoming. You know, our security is looking pretty cracked. We have HPD, we have 2 agility trainings to utilize as well in this particular turn. So now we can actually answer their board. The Ukomon and the Numemon rush is just really insane. They're able to chip away so much security off the bat. At least we can go into this Antilamon and help us recover 1, and then we get to go into this Cherubimon, which helps us delete a level 4 lower Digimon and lets us play another one from our hand. And I love this combo, playing the Wendigomon now, and it's just really good because then we can actually clear their board in that one single turn, and we have a level 6 and a level 4 ready for some big alliance chunks, big bunny power later on. And all they have left here is the Cherubimon that they probably wouldn't push out yet at the moment. We have, you know, DP reduction with the Lopmon as well, with Wendigomon inheritable. We can grab stuff back from the trash if anything. And yeah, we're just going to keep trying to alliance and do as much damage while we can, and while we have this big stack on the board, and we can continue to build and we have nothing too much to worry about. Giving ourselves as much draw power with Kukomon too at the same time. And we did check into Satsuki here, which is a little bit unfortunate, which gives them quite a bit of value. We do end up DP minusing their Numemon anyways, and they do get to search with his undulation effect, finding themselves a Monzemon. So overall, we're able to sort of like, you know, reestablish a bit of the momentum and sit in a pretty good position. So I decided to go into this Antilamon in the end and just sort of sit there and just sort of wait. This is one of the funny things is like with this particular deck, with potentially I might have Mega Gargomon Ace, which is also a really good card to sort of splash in here, and we can always use that to sort of bait with having a level 5, which is kind of somewhat similar to the Rapidmon and Mega Gargomon deck with Terriermon focus, but here this is Cherubimon, but it's still a very splashable card I want to mention, and if you guys want to play that, definitely include that. So it looks like they're going to be trying to, you know, climb up and digivolve up their stack a little bit, you know, with Numemon into Nume X, and they have a Sasuke to work with, so they can actually just mind link whenever to give it jamming and also reboot, which is going to be a lot of value for them too. But if they try to attack into us, maybe, right? Maybe they respect us for having it. And unfortunately, we don't have it in our hand at the moment, so they could feel free to attack into us with no issues at all. But the next turn game plan is that I'm going to look into trying to get into another level 6 if we can. Or sort of like, you know, see what we top deck and draw, and then see how we can utilize our resources, because with Terriermon, we are still able to, cycle for certain more stuff. We can play more Lopmons or Tamers. They run into our security here, and of course, Heaven's Judgment is here to punish them. So we did knock them out there, and we did get to, fortunately, get rid of the Satsuki alongside with it, which is going to be really good for us. But they do end up getting to play this Platinum Numemon because of the undeletion effect inheritables of the Numemon X and stuff like that, which is really good value here. I think they're just contemplating if they really want to play the Geremon out, or if they want to keep it in their hand, or if they want to actually trash it. I think they're still kind of deciding and see what plays they have. So it seems like they don't really have the resources they need exactly. So I think they did end up concluding actually trashing the Geremon with the on-play of Platinum Nume, so they can gain 2 memory back, and then now they can hard slap the Monze, tucking underneath a Nume X to gain a bit of memory to give us like as little resources as possible, and security -1 to something on our board. So then they're able to survive for the next turn, essentially, I believe. And with 2 memory, it's going to be hard to sort of like take them out in that one go. This is a little tricky because with Numemon X underneath and Platinum Numemon, they have a lot of floating and recycling capability thanks to that. And we don't really want to deal with their board in a way. We don't really want to, in terms of delete their stuff, because if we delete their stuff, they get to float things back, and we don't want them to have more cycling value because of that. you know, ideally it'd be best to like bottom deck their stuff if possible, but we don't do that in this deck either. So right here, I'm trying to figure out if there is actually a formula or a puzzle to actually win in this turn. And there actually is, but during the time of the game, it was actually kind of hard to think about it because I guess we weren't seeing the big picture as well. We're kind of talking amongst each other just for funsies. I do have a HPD, which I can actually utilize, and it's definitely going to give us some form of value. You know, I have all the 3 different kinds of Cherubimons I can work with on my hand. I got the new one, I got the 2 older ones, I got the good one and the evil one as well. If I want to DP reduce their board, I actually can, but like I mentioned, I don't want to delete their stuff. That's what I was thinking. I could go into the evil Cherubimon, the newer one, to float a body back, or I can go to the older evil one and give it like a 1-turn sort of floating capability. But I felt like there was no value in that either, just because like they don't really delete our stuff anyways as much. So I decided to go HPD and go into this Cherubimon, feeling that I can play another body back out, which could be something that helps us. But unfortunately, I think this wasn't the most optimal play because I think it's sort of a hindsight thing. Because what I'm going to explain is there was actually a lethal combo, which we'll get to see it just in a bit. Instead of going into that Cherubimon and just playing out another body, could have easily just actually swung with terriermon first and try to check their security and see what it is or what it was. And then we could have just kept the Antilamon because here it confirms it. I should have just checked with the Terriermon first in the get-go before doing anything else, because now we're discussing if I checked with the Terriermon first, the Terriermon would be deleted. That gives me a body to play back with Antilamon, regardless if it does any checks anymore, but it gives me an extra attack. And I think I would have an extra body, which would be that lopmon, which is fine if it's suspended, but I can easily alliance for sec +1, and that would have just finished the game. But keep in mind, our Antilamon or Cherubimon stack on the most right did have sec -1, but if we're able to neutralize the sec -1, giving it sec +1, we're actually still able to finish the game off of that. So that was actually the winning game formula right there, which was kind of difficult to figure out on the time on the spot too, because there was a lot of thinking involved, as you guys can see. So I just pressed the emergency button, went into Quartzmon, and I said, stop. You shall not play. And I'm just going to try to hold into there and try to help secure the win condition right here from that, you know, suboptimal play there. But here we're sitting in a better position then. We're giving them as little as memory as possible to work with. They still have 3, so they're still kind of quite playable. They can play a certain amount of cards and do a bunch of stuff, but at least we stop them from attacking. One thing is that, you know, they still have a lot of like aggression rush capability with the Numemon deck, and we don't want them to attack, because if they attack into bigger bodies, they keep floating back and they get to do all these shenanigans with these combos and over again. You know, you can see there's Ukomon at the back as well. So really, we're forcing them to react to our board and try to make them play defensive, when really they thrive better when they play on the offensive, actually. So yeah, you guys can see here, they went for a Venusmon, now blanketing -1 on the entire board, and we have no alliance to work with, so even our Quartzmon is not going to be able to finish the game off because it doesn't have sec +1 or anything like that. But we're still going to attempt to swing so that we can suspend down the Numemon, and by suspending down Numemon, we prevent it from attacking the next turn essentially too, right? And that's totally fine. And we just, again, doing the memory manipulation, passing memory game, try to pass them as little as possible. But even with Ukomon, they're just gaining a lot of value because of that. And yeah, we're just going to sit tight. Now that we have a Digimon in the back, it can come out to go for a potential attack. If not, then we try to finish the game with Quartzmon, and they really forcing them to somehow find and establish a blocker if they really can. I just quickly grabbed a card back from trash there, because with the Antilamon/Wendigomon, actually Antilamon, at the end of attack, we're actually able to grab something back anyway. So yeah, I missed that a little bit earlier, but we just try to grab something anyways. So here we're making our opponent think and play now. Quartzmon is just such a good card as well at the end of the day. They go into X-Antibody Proto form here. I think they're going to try to go into like, oh, I see. They go into a Monze X here. With Monze X, they can play an extra body out. And it's a Cherubimon, so it's not like, doesn't look like it's going to be a Numemon. If they played a Numemon, they could have like Digivolved on top of it and then at least establish one blocker on the board. But even if they establish one blocker, when we swing with Quartzmon, we just suspend down the blocker and finish the game either way. So I think the situation looks pretty like over for them. Even with Warrior Monze, it's not going to do them too much, because Warrior Monze only stops like lower play cost stuff from attacking, if I recall correctly. So our Quartzmon's really big, you know, really big like play cost anyway, so we can actually like do it easy. So yeah, looks like they can only finish it off with Cherubimon, so we just basically swing for there.
Wave 2 is here. We got 2 new products. You guys love the first series Cyberzone so much, we decided to make some new color variations just for you. We also have a brand new design for the winter season, where we have our second series, Winter 0. And this time, it comes with different colorways right off the bat. The new drops are now live on the AVAULT store right away for pre-order, so be sure to check it out. Both new drops have single and 2-player versions as well.
Okay, so for the next game, we're going to be up against Kerpymon, which got quite a decent amount of support ever since like BT15 and such. Here with our opening hand, looks okay this time. I think very keepable. We have a rookie and we have a bunch of tamers to work with, which I really like the combination because then I can start to utilize terriermon to play tamers for much lower cost as much as possible. This is going to give us a lot of return. We have like Double Typhoon to help us search as well, and we can sort of like find our pieces along the way instead, which is a pretty good opening hand. I decided to go for a Mimi to establish one early in the stages just because we want to have a memory tamer, so then we're not going to get choked out and we could actually start, you know, being able to have more to work with throughout our turn, and it's going to just pay off for the rest of the game. And in this situation, they went into the Repamon here, you know, pretty fast, honestly. The new Kerpymon updates and upgrades that they have is pretty good. So if you guys want to see Kerpymon like on the channel and like feature more updates, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, Repamon is going to swing here, and they essentially going to have like jamming because they're going to trash their own security. And having that sort of jamming thanks to the Kerpymon is really good. And they can cycle through it with the TK as well, and you know, put stuff back and grab their top as well. Here I really think was contemplating to try and again get into one of my Wendigomons and swing over that Repamon, because I just feel like, you know, it'll be a problem to if we don't deal with it sooner. But I felt like, okay, you know what, it's still early. I feel like I had a little bit of time, so I'm not going to push out the terriermon just because I know they have DP reduction effects and I don't really want to just to stay on the board and end up deleted, because that's the only rookie that we have that we can work with right now. And plus the other thing was like, okay, yeah, playing Henry Wong and Shuchang Wong for the full cost is fine, so then we can just pass them perfectly to 1 and choke them down a little bit, keep the gameplay slow. But I think I really should just went into Wendigomon and then Wendigomon like a 5k one and swing over the Repamon. But there's one thing I was worried about because it is a yellow based deck. They have access to potentially Angelwomon Ace, which is new, which we can see that they're playing a bit of the Godomon line stuff too. And they might have access to Magna Angelmon Ace, which both would DP reduce our stuff. And if we swing willingly without thinking twice into that Repamon, we could just turn the game into a total shutdown for us, and there's no way for us to make a comeback and win from there at all. So that's the reason why I didn't end up swinging. I was suspecting the aces, maybe a little bit too much in hindsight now, because now they have so much like momentum and like tamers established and stuff like that. They are able to get into this Mitamamon. Mitamamon is just fantastic because it helps them play more bodies. It gives everything barrier, which is actually a really cool mechanic that works very nicely. And now we're in such a sticky situation because they have 2 bodies on board. I don't think we can no longer just sit and wait and relax and chill a little bit anymore. I feel like we have to start doing something. It's also really unfortunate that we don't have a lopmon or another terriermon to work with in our hand, which we need another rookie, because we could at least play it along with Shuchang Wong and at least try to swing over their stack with our own stack, because we have the resources to climb up. But now that we climb up, it's not going to be that effective anyways, but because Mitamamon is going to give us security minus 2 to anything that is level 5 or above. So either way, we have to climb up here, and I'm just trying to see what resources we have. Like, I want to sort of see like, okay, can we get into either Cherubimon and to do something? Which unfortunately, you know, it would be nice if we can see one of the newer ones. We have both the older ones, which doesn't really help us in this situation. If I go into the evil old one, it just gives us a floating for 1 turn, but they're not really gonna delete us. I feel like I could try to go into the good one, but the good one, we don't have enough suspended bodies on the board to DP reduce them enough to get rid of their board either. So it is a very tricky situation for us in the end, and I just end up probably just deciding just to digivolve and cycle for more cards because I feel like I just need to draw a little bit more. So I prioritize in terms of digivolving and just to sit here. But maybe in hindsight, I could have just tried to sit at the back with Antilamon and maybe bait into them thinking we might have some form of level 6 ace card instead. And then we could like surprise them. But honestly, this one's looking a little bit doomed for us here. Just because they're able to sort of like play more stuff with Mitamamon. Mitamamon is going to give that thing Rush, the Patamon too. And yeah, like you guys can see, they do have an Angelomon A. So if they had one in their hand, if they have one in security, chances are they might have one in hand. And we got to respect that. But yeah, unfortunately, they're able to rush us down. So unfortunately, we'll get them next time. So with quick games, we're going to go for a third bonus one for today. And for the third game, we're going to be playing against Jellymon, which also got quite a bit of support in BT15 in the form of the LM cards and such. So we looked at our hand, again, as per usual. We don't really have a rookie. We have a tamer, but only really one search card to work with. So it's not going to help us too much if we potentially whiff on a search. And regardless if we're going first or second, I definitely would still, you know, try to go for a better hand instead. And again, really trying to look for rookies and the combination of search cards at the same time instead. Now, I haven't really played against the Jellymon deck this format, so it's going to be kind of interesting. I know they have like a new ace card, which can actually, you know, do pretty cool things. But, you know, our hand now looks a little bit better. We have more searching cards we can utilize. You know, with so many of them, I feel more comfortable digivolving into the searching Terriermon at the back just to cycle one extra card, just because we have lopmon Terriermon to play, and then we have like another Mimi to sort of set up as a memory tamer we can potentially. We have lots of cards. We have lots of cards to utilize our tools and resources here to sort of continue and sort of ramp up on our side. Here they're going for searching as well, just they're trying to find their pieces at the same time and giving us a little bit more memory to work with, which is kind of nice. Here I could actually just go into Mimi and just, you know, put them at 1 and just like chill in the back a little bit. And you know what? Since I have some resources to work with, I felt like might as well just try and use them as much as possible first, using Double Typhoon to search for some pieces, and then give them as little memory as possible afterwards. So then in my next turn, I can at least hatch an egg, find another rookie, and then get into it, or start digivolving up my stack, because I am missing a level 5 now. I found myself the level 4, which is Gargomon, so we do want to eventually be able to climb up into level 6, which is going to be important and crucial for us for the following up plays too. By giving them as little memory to work with, so then we can slow down the game pace and we can, you know, take our time and maybe try to search for more stuff. It's pretty good. Now we get to showcase here a little bit more with the lopmon and terriermon back from EX4, and possibly maybe go for alliance combos. And when we do, we can actually digivolve for reduction costs thanks to its inheritables, which is going to be really nice. Here they decide to go into a Thetismon, but I think just quickly before that, they just want to quickly, you know, swing in with jamming quickly just to deal some chip damage and be efficient about it, which definitely makes sense there. And yeah, taking away security, and then finish off with a Thetismon on the board, which they get the trash cards from their hand and potentially unsuspend both their tamers and Thetismon. They can even go for another check right here if they wanted to as well, which is going to be really cool. Or they can even end on a Amphimon potentially and bottom deck our Lopmon, which is going to be a really, really good, yeah, give them a really good position. Again, depending on which Amphimon they have, they both of them can actually just like get rid of one of our bodies, which is going to be pretty good. But I think they're just kind of contemplate and see if they want to swing in further, or, you know, give something more jamming and whatnot. Or maybe, okay, it looks like they don't find it here. So I'm pretty sure if they had an Amphimon, they would have went into it and not leave like these two bodies out here for us. But I feel like, you know, they felt they were pretty safe, despite with the Thetismon being unsuspended. But little, I think bit by bit here, we might have something that we can actually help us change the tide. And we do need to try to get rid of this Thetismon on the board somehow, so that we can not let them get into Amphimon, which could be a little bit dangerous, because if we let them do that, and the situation looks bad. So we're going to gamble a little bit. We're going to go for a little bit of a safer play. I'm not going to want to chip away the security just in case it gives them value either. But the Thetismon has blocker too. So we can't just like not think about it twice and just attack. And give them as a little memory to work with, so then forcing them to potentially hard draw into their Amphimon. You know, they don't have as much, you know, they don't have that many line of play. So it seems like they don't. So not seeing the Amphimon is great now that we can confirm it. So we bought ourselves one more turn. Just thinking if we want to push out or not, but I don't think we did here. Just because we can want to clear board and control a little bit and keep our stack at the back, because I don't have another rookie that I can get into right off away, and I can actually utilize Mimi instead to push out if I want to. Actually, looking at that, I actually had a Lopmon at the time. Maybe I could have went into the Lopmon, pushed out, and then, you know, since I had a Lopmon anyways. But yeah, we're gonna go into Antilamon here for 1 cost, and we're gonna try our best to actually remove the Thetismon And at this moment, then we're going to use the Mimi to push it out. But like I mentioned, maybe we should just push it out initially anyway, so that we could have hatched an egg and turboed a little bit faster. If the lopmon was actually there prior we actually draw into it. I can't really remember, I can't really see based on this replay. But anyways, we are still going to get rid of Thetismon, swing with Antilamon. Now with the attack and combinations, we're going to go Alliance drawing a lot of cards, and the Inheritable of Terriermon is going to let us Digivolve into Cherubimon for reduction cost, so then we can synergize with the end of attack and of the when Digivolving combos of Cherubimon to minus DP on the Thetismon and finish it off with the Antilamon at the end of attack, which is gonna be a very good position for us here. And getting rid of their stack means they have to rebuild all from scratch, even with all the resources they have there, which is gonna be really good setup for them. We can just go straight for game. Having the Mimi is just paying off so much. You know, with Terriermon letting us play lopmon for free now, and with so many bodies, we can alliance here. Thinking back here, I could actually even have gave Cherubimon an extra alliance to double alliance for 3 checks instead. But either way, we got it right here.
Also, be sure to check out the Mega Gargomon gameplay guide right here, as you can see the other side of the power of the Double Typhoon deck. Also, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more Cherubimon and Alliance content on the channel. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video, and this is AVAULT signing